Welcome to the light at the end of the funnel. This podcast is all about tangible solutions to common online marketing challenges. And it's also about the lighter side of entrepreneurship, the motivation, the innovation, the inspiration, and the growth mindset needed to build a business that stands the test of time and stands the test of the unexpected. I'm your host, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark, and I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. So let's dig in. Hey everyone, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark here from Influence Builder and your host of Light at the End of the Funnel. And today we're going to talk about something that has happened to anyone who's running a business, or actually pretty much anybody. And that is this awesome cycle and hamster wheel of being stuck. So we're going to talk about what it's like to be stuck and how you can move out of your stuckness. And so if you're listening to this, then chances are you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, and stuck has been something that you've experienced. And if you haven't experienced it, then my goodness, good for you. And you are way ahead of the curve if you've been in entrepreneurship for even more than a couple months and you haven't been stuck. That's amazing. And so for the rest of us who have been stuck at least once, or every once in a while, or every week, or even multiple times a day, where we feel that way, it's a very frustrating feeling. It's very overwhelming. Sometimes it just makes you sad to be stuck. I'm like, oh, am I here again? And so what I like to tell everybody, it's not a bad thing to feel stuck. In fact, I have been able to train my mind to be really excited when I get stuck, because that means I'm just on the edge of an up level. So that's kind of how I've been able to move into my next level, and knowing that stuck is actually a gift. And what it can mean is that it's just I'm either not going in the right direction, or I'm not looking at what's happening from the angle that's a more positive angle that's going to move me through it. So I had a client a couple months ago, and I meant to record this after I talked to her because it was such a good analogy for what she was feeling. And I pulled from my childhood as a farm girl from northern Maine. I pull a lot of metaphors from my childhood and my animals that I had on the farm. And the one that I always think of whenever I think of being stuck or on a hamster wheel is my dog Toby. So we had a beautiful collie, Toby, and he was a herd dog. Yeah, he loved being on a farm, and so as a herd dog, what he did is that he ran circles around the animals. So we had pigs and we had cows in our barn, and they had little pastures out here, and so he would actually run around the fencing, and sometimes he would actually go underneath the fencing. He would have his track, and he would run it every day. Every day, he always went out the same time every morning. He ran around. He made sure everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. Very, very loyal dog. Awesome dog. Probably my favorite dog of all time. But he had a system, and he ran that system all the time, right? And it's funny because I was actually thinking about this a few days ago, and once his system got messed up, right? So something fell. I can't remember if it or something was put on his path, and it really bugged him. It kept him like there I remember watching it. I'm like, oh, well, doesn't he know just to go around it? And he didn't know just to go around it. It's almost like if a dog had a day ruined, his day was ruined, because he couldn't do his path. He couldn't run his cycle. And so I just found it really comical to watch him kind of like go back and forth and like, I need to get over there and I can't get through that way. And just to see him turn back and kind of look defeated, come back to the beginning of his run, and just sit down and just like, what's going on, Toby? All right. And it he did not seem pleased for a dog that can't speak, but that was his path. He liked to run it every day, and so this is what we call a disruption. And and not that Toby wasn't smart or anything. It's just that you know he wasn't an entrepreneur either. He didn't have to find a way through, but he didn't find a way through, and he came back and he felt defeated. So this is really similar to sometimes how we can be going about our days and in our entrepreneurial world, in our business, and we just keep running that path, regardless if it's raining or if it's a good day or if it's working for us. We keep running that path, and then sometimes something blocks our way, so we can't keep running that same track. We can't. It's not possible anymore, or it just doesn't work, or it takes too much effort to get around, and so it won't work for us anymore. And so that's why I always think of the story of Toby and how, oh, looks like we're Tobeying it, is what I usually call it. But like, let's not Toby this, because when we're stuck, then we come back and we're defeated. So we're not going to Toby it this time. We're actually going to look at this from a more positive perspective. And that, well, there's a reason why something landed on this path. And so now it's up to me to find a way around, or to look at this from a different angle. Or maybe I don't need to run this path anymore. Maybe running a path, maybe the days of running a path around are done, and maybe I get to do something different. So what ends up happening is when we get that interruption, it can be very, very, very challenging, especially when we're used to running it. So the way around isn't actually around. We're not going to go around so we can continue on the same path. And so do we go through it? Depends. It depends on if it's possible for us to go through it. Maybe it's a different angle. So this is why we pivot in business. This is why we look for solutions. But I think what I'm trying to point out here is that just because you feel stuck, or just because the way that you thought you needed to go, or the way that you were used to going is no longer available to you, doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. In fact, it's only based on our perspective that it's a bad thing, because we can't see through. We can't see through it. And when we can't see what's ahead of us, sometimes we get nervous and depressed or overwhelmed, because we think we need to know everything, rather than what is the truth of this. And the truth is that you get to trust yourself, and you get to trust that there's reasons for this, and get to dig in a little bit deeper, pull yourself forward, and know that no matter what comes across your path, if it blocks your path, then there's a purpose for it, and there's a solution, and there's a next step for you. And it could be a different direction. It could be, or it could be that the path that you were on was not the right path for you anymore, and you need to create a new one. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys enjoyed my story of my wonderful childhood dog, Toby, and how we don't need to Toby it. We don't need to keep ourselves stuck or feel defeated. If we just really can dig a little bit deeper, and to realize that you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it through. And a kink in the chain, a blocked path, a feeling of stuck or being stuck when it's not actually happening, like it's not the physical, is a really wonderful happening. And for me, it always means I'm going into the next level and the next level up. So it's very transformative when you can step into that and believe that that's exactly what's happening for you. Nothing happens to you, happens for you. And then you can move through these moments of stuckness much more smoothly. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, come and give us some likes on social media. Give us some likes on Spotify. We're also on Apple iTunes. We would love comments, and tell us how you enjoyed this. Give us some love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to Light at the End of the Funnel. And help a marketer out. We always can use some love. Share, like, and subscribe. That is the best thing that you can do for any podcast. So if you like what we're giving you guys at Light at the End of the Funnel, please go ahead and share that out, and don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.